we have significantly improved the way to use Twain in combination with Clay. And in this video, you will learn about all the changes and how it will make your life easier. I will go through an entire setup of going from a few data points in Clay for a multi-signal campaign, and then how to set up Twain, and then getting all the way to generating the messaging in sequence and making a few edits to the outputs. So bear with me, this will take a few minutes, but it's very, very important that you are aware of what has changed and how to get the most out of Twain in combination with Clay. All right, let's get started. To give you a quick overview and context on what this is a table of a sample data set. None of this is real, but basically we have a signal from accounts, G2 visit, pricing page visit, and if they are a confirmed Clay user, because that is one of our ICP. Now, I have searched for the correct point of contact. Very important that they are working in demand generation on a senior or manager level. This is a company domain, and then the LinkedIn profile. Once again, this is just a sample. This is completely random. This is not real, but it's a realistic mirror basically of a table that we or some of our customers would build. And many times we have multiple signals from an account, and now we want to get in touch with the right point of contact. So I want to show you how to do this in the most simple and straightforward way, because we made significant improvements. All right, so let's say we have that. In the next step, we want Twain's research and we want Twain's messaging. So what I will do next is I'll go to Twain. I don't have to take any of these leads from here. I'll just go to Twain. I'll open the app. I'll create a new campaign. And now you'll see here, I can pick Clay as a lead source basically. And I'll immediately jump to personas. I'll import them automatically for Twain, and I will completely and entirely focus on demand generation as a persona. I will also add someone more senior. Something like that. So basically we have a manager, we have a lead, and we have a VP. Maybe I'll also add head of. What you'll see now is like, this might look like very granular to you, but there is no reason not to do it, even if we have a very specific target with just demand generation. Because Twain will auto-create these campaigns for me, and I can add up to 15 different ones. Now I'll quickly give Twain some context. So I'll say, now I'm going to add some research prompt, basically nudging Twain what to search for. So you can see here, I gave some research prompt, some limitations, like not searching for more than 6 months. This, of course, is not a guarantee. This is just a nudge into a direction. But Twain does take that as context when we do our deep research, which we can already see with our customers being like super powerful. Now, I'm going to create the campaign, and that's it. Once again, I don't have to add leads here right now. So this is basically empty. The sequencing is empty, and the expanded research as well. Now I'm going to copy the campaign ID. You see here, I copied it. And now I'm going to go back to Clay. I'm going to open Twain. And then we are going to add this campaign ID. So here you can see I'll have the campaign ID. And now I will, where are the columns? Sorry, I put it in the wrong field, so it's under campaign ID here. And now I can actually go back to my API key and then column mapping, campaign. Yep. And then the LinkedIn profile, the name, the company domain. I don't have to add any extra info because here's something, these two fields, of course, we were already aware of, but here's something that's new as well. We can now map multiple custom variables, and I'll show you something really cool. So of course, as you can see here, G2 visit, pricing page, and confirm Clay user, there are only numbers and then a true and false, right? Something binary. So these numbers means how many visits have happened. And because of course we cannot like identify who actually visited. And then here is if this is confirmed that they use Clay or not, because we want to pick this up in our messaging. So for custom variable 1, I'm going to add the G2 visit. And then for custom variable value, here, 1 second, I'm going to give it a name. And then for custom valuable description, 1 second, G2 visited our number of times they visited our G2 page. So here is where you describe what this column or value is about. And remember, of course, this is very likely going to be different for the value is going to be different for every row. So it's very important to give Twain some context on like, what does this number mean? Because if it's just a 1, for example, the value here that will be pushed is just a 1. Like, what does this mean? So that's why like I'm describing the custom variable here. And then for 2, I'm going to like speed run this. Now I basically filled all this, but I kept one mistake open, okay? And I just want to show you that this happens to me as well. So for example, the second time for the second value, I added number of times someone from the organization visited our pricing page. Now I went back and I saw this, oh, number of times they visited our G2 page. So now I realized, oh, this might be confusing. If I write they, it could mean that the specific prospect that we are reaching out to has visited our G2 page, but that's not true. So here I wrote it like this is better. So that's why like now I'm going back and I was like, oh, okay, let me fix this quickly. Number of times someone from the organization. All right, and now I'm going to check everything. Okay. Run settings, not gonna auto run this. This is fine, this is fine. Now I'm going to hit save. And now, let's go back here. We'll just see this is still empty, right? And now I'll go here, and now I'm going to run them. Okay? And remember, we're just going to run the first few, okay? And this is going to take a few seconds, so I'm just going to pause the video. All right, there we go. We have a bunch of research and sequences generated. One of them timed out. I just want to keep this in the video to show you, yes, this can sometimes happen. And then of course we will rerun this. Now we see, of course, our warnings, which we love, our research, and then the messaging. But for now, I'm not going to even touch this. Something else that is new, you can see here, just going to add this as I want to add this as a column to show you that we will now give you the link to every single one of them, one of the leads with everything that was generated, and you can immediately click on it and check it out in Twain. Very cool. Okay, so I'm not even going to look at the messaging for now. I am going to go into Twain and look at the messaging there, because something that's very important, when you use the API, the first generation, that's all good, that makes sense, and I'll show you in a minute why it makes a lot of sense to do it here. But this regenerating and basically editing, we want to do that in Twain because we only want to change the messaging, and regenerating the messaging and making tweaks to the framework is free in Twain. But in Clay, it's not because of Clay, but because you're using the API, when we regenerate, it will spend a credit. Okay, very important. So we go in here and now we look at this. I have not even looked at the messaging at all, and I'm not going to do it as a first step because I want to show you something. Now, when I click on view more, I now see all the custom variables that we have mapped. I didn't have to take a sample lead from Clay to Twain and then make sure that all the data ends up here. No, I was able to do everything in Clay here, and you can see here that we now have the values and we have this, okay? And then of course I can I can see G2 visited, blah, blah, and all this stuff. Now I want to go into the messaging next. All right, so we have these three variables here, and I want to use them now on the messaging, and I'm going to create new frameworks right away. So I'll go in here, I'll click new framework, and I'm going to use these three. That's very cool. It's just a suggest, and I can immediately make sure, okay, I want to mention all three of them in message one. To be honest, I usually don't want to do that, but let's showcase this in one framework. And then what else do I want to use? Of course, I want to use the insights, the research, and I want to use their career, and I want to use campaign idea. Very important, because that's where I wrote what this is about. So let's generate this framework real quick, and then for follow-ups, we'll just mention one. We do one follow-up, and we'll mention another signal there. So there you go. We created this. Twain really quickly created this framework for me. I'm not even going to read this because I want to read the actual output to see what it sounds like, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, and I'll do this second step, and then the third step I'm just going to delete for now. I just wanted it to be a two-step campaign. All right, so I'll delete this one, and then I'll read this one, and then we'll change the first one as well. Give me a few seconds to read the message. So reading this first message, I have to say, just for by clicking on these suggests, I mean, I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. And it was super simple. I just said which data points I want to be used, and then I'll look at this. And the reason why I'm recording this long video is just to show you what's the fastest way to get to something, because this is not perfect. I'll give you an example of what I don't like about this. What I don't like about this is saying that we specifically mention that they went to our pricing page, okay? I don't want to do that. So the next thing I would do, and basically now going to the fine tuning, is I want to go in here, see where are we instructing to mention the G2 visit or the visit of our pricing page, and I find it here. And that's what I would change. That's what I would change and say something a little bit more broad, because they might not just be the right person that visited our pricing page. But let's do the second one, okay? Now I'll go in here, and now I want to create a new custom framework as well. Now I go into suggest as well. Okay, what do I want to use? I always want to use campaign idea because this is really important for this specific campaign. I always want to use insights because I think it's the fastest way to mention something relevant. Don't want to use career. As you can see, we mentioned, hey, given your new demand generation role, right? So like Twain did figure out when to mention it correctly. I think that's super cool. So I don't want to mention this and I don't want to mention this. I only want to mention if they are using Clay or not. Generate framework. It's going to take a few seconds again. There you go. Not even going to read this. And then I'll look into what we have here. All right, so the second message, I think, is a few things I have to change here. So right away, the first thing I would remove this because it's mentioning the same thing because it's very relevant. But for example, I don't want it to mention the same insight. So I would change this. I would say opener using recent recipient insight, never mention something that was mentioned in a previous message. It must be a different insight. If there are no relevant insights that are recent, just skip this. Something like that, and then keep it to one sentence. So I'm like showing you the options that we have, okay? Now, line trying recipient insights to, tying to are they using Clay. That's pretty cool. And the last one I would also change because I don't want to mention that they've like spent time on Twain, and it's coming from, like you can see here, it says like campaign idea. So I now realize, okay, I should have not mentioned that, and I'll just remove it. And now I want to show you another feature, even though it's not that I didn't like this, but I just want to show you another feature. I actually want to write something verbatim. So I'll say, super long, but I want to show you what I do. Now, I just clicked on these quotes. There you go, update step, and let's go. So let's see what happened. By the way, I know this is a long video. Thank you for sticking with me, but I just went from the beginning, and I want to show you how to get to the end and using Twain the fastest and most effective way. All right, so you can see it used another insight. And then, yep, very cool. And here you can also see, right, it used it verbatim. Now I'll say, okay, this is a two-step message. Okay, is this the subject line that I want Twain to push through to Clay? Yeah, I think I will. This is. And then I'll go back to Clay, and now I'll regenerate basically. Because now I have made my edits, and now I'll for example, not only I'll regenerate, I mean, generating 10 was a bit of an overkill. You could have just generated 3, for example, just to get the custom variable in and build out the frameworks. So you'll just generate 3 to 5. I would probably generate 5. And then the thing you'll do now is, for example, here I can see, right, they are all generated. So, but only Maria, all of the other ones are outdated, right? So what I would do next is I would generate all. Yes. Research. No, I don't need the research here because I'm using Clay, and I would use our other API for that. and then I would update these sequences, and because they are already like generated, I would update them here. But I would not update all of them because I just want to review what the messaging looks like for like 5. Okay, so I'll click on this here. If I'd only had 5, right, I would click generate all, but I don't need to read every single one of them. I'll see 5, I'll check if they look good. Let's assume they look good. Then I go to Clay, and now I would run everything. We are just going to run like just a few of these, rerun them, just to show you like what has basically changed. Right here, we still have 3 messages, right? And then the persona gets pulled in as well, by the way, so you always know what persona gets tied in. Now this is once again going to take a few seconds. I'm going to pause the video here now. We are almost done. Thank you for sticking with me. All right, we have returned the first few sequences, plus research, plus warnings, plus the link, plus persona, plus subject line. So, all right, and now you can see we have 2 messages, and I can like add them as a column, right? And I can add the second one as well. Now I want to share with you 2 more very, very important things. First of all, this is not auto-synced. So when you generate them here, okay, even though the regenerations are free, once you regenerate them here, it's not an auto-synced messages. The messages get uniquely generated. There's no auto-sync. This is not possible. The second thing is, looking at them here, right? When you upload files to Twain, you can change the custom variables here. You can make edits to everything. When you use them in Clay, here, you have to make the changes here. You cannot make edits, like you can see, I can't click on this, right? So very important, you make these changes here. But this is all for now. Here are where the links are. Here is where the messages are. They are all formatted. I can now push them through. They are using multi-signals, multiple insights as custom variables pulled through Twain. I made all the edits in Twain. I was able to review everything, make changes, generate by suggest the frameworks, and then make some quick edits. Use verbatim text like you saw. Was able to not repeat myself in message 2, and have made sure that all the data was available in Clay was now also available in Twain. And Twain basically here tracks what you generate here. So every single new lead will be added here as well. So you will track it in Twain as well, and can review the messaging, see what it looks like. All right, thank you. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I hope this was helpful and valuable. I have already built several real campaigns in the last few days using Twain, using our research, our expanded research, and using our messaging both through the API inside of Clay. And I'm super, super excited for this update. A big shout out to Clay's team for making these changes super fast and reliably and being so supportive. We are all doing this just to make your life easier. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me.